time, guys. I mean, let me ask you guys a question. Realistically, how long, I guess, initially did you think it would take before you can become a consistently profitable trader? If I told you 2 years, would you think I was crazy? If I said 2 years, 18, okay, so yeah, so you guys had realistic expectations. Yeah, it takes time. It takes really about, I would say, maybe 3 months to learn the information if you're learning it the right way. Maybe another 3 months to go through like the testing process and setting yourself up to actually trade. That puts you at about 6 months, and that's on the probably the quicker end. Um, you add a few months of demo trading to that, maybe that puts you at 9 months, and then you actually have to go out there and probably for about another 6 months, maybe even a year after you're actually trading is before you kind of find yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't be consistently profitable before that, but what I've noticed is usually like after the first year is typically like a struggle where you're bouncing back and forth. After if you can get through year one without blowing everything, then you really you kind of start to kind of settle into a groove and hopefully by year two that's where you're doing big things. What's the right way? Like how many modules and chart time daily? Um, Look, I honestly I would say spend a full week on each module and as much chart time as you can. If you can, the more time you can put into a chart, um, the faster you'll improve. So if you can put 2 hours into the chart a day, you'll improve faster than someone that can put 2 minutes. But the key is you don't want to move on to another training lesson until you're 100% confident that you have mastered the previous training lesson. So if you're going through double bottoms and you don't feel 100% confident in analyzing double bottoms, I wouldn't move on. So I would say spend a week on each concept, right? Learn the concept and then spend the week just practicing that single concept and then go on to the next concept, right? So again, double bottoms, right? Learn about double tops and double bottoms and then invest an entire week on going through the charts and finding them in hindsight, coming into the live room, looking at live markets and trying to find them live. And then once you feel confident in that, then move on to the next section. And that takes a long time. That takes a long time. But if you do it the right way, it's going to stop you from going backwards. And what we see is, I still get this now, is you'll see a lot of traders where they they learn something or they go through a course, they go through a concept, and then eventually they get to some other concept where they have to put stuff together. So like if sticking with the double top, double bottom example, um, let's say someone learns about double tops, double bottoms, and they kind of rush through it. And now they got to the 2618 opportunity. It's like, man, I just can't seem to find 2618s. Well, if you're not confident in identifying double tops and double bottoms, are you ever going to be able to find 2618s consistently? Probably not. You can't be a CTS trader if you can't find ABCD patterns, if you can't identify structure. If you don't know how to draw fibs, you can't draw fibs unless you can read swing highs and swing lows in the market. If you can't identify swing lows and swing highs in the markets, you can't draw fibs. If you can't draw fibs, you can't identify patterns. Yeah, everything's built on another concept. That's how it all gets together. It just takes time. And a lot of people, in the world we live in now, it's all about instant gratification. No one wants to be patient. No one wants to be patient. But I'll tell you this, and this was I shared you guys know I do a quote of the day, and I did one yesterday, which was it was talking a little bit about it was a quote from a trading buddy of mine that basically said like, hey, if I knew what it would actually take to be successful when I first started, who knows if I ever would have got started? Kind of under the concept that, many of us get into this because we think it's a get rich quick scheme. And that's kind of the initial kind of pull. And then we realize it's not. Many fall off and never pursue it anymore or go to the next thing. And many actually fall in love with it and say, okay, well, I understand it's not a get rich quick scheme, but I'm willing to dedicate time and effort to learn and work on my skill so I can become consistently profitable. Um, if you put the 2 year kind of number into perspective, right? If it's going to take you 2 years to improve, to get better, to become consistently profitable, it may seem like a lot of time at first, but if you can do something that will change your life, if you can develop a skill that will have a significant change in your life, how many years down the line can you use that skill? Right? I started investing, I guess you should say, in 2007. Again, I had some pretty good, I still call it luck. Who knows if I was a good investor or not? I think I just hopped in the market at the right time when I first got started. But when I got to Forex in 2000, what, 8, 9, struggled for about 2 years. I've been trading consistently for what, about 6 years now. And I plan on doing it for a very, very long time. So you look back, it's like, 20 years down the road, were those 2 years worth it? 2 years of struggle, 2 years of investing in yourself for 20 years, 30 years, maybe for some of you, even more? Yeah, of course. But we don't see it at the time. At the time, it's like 2 years takes so long. I want money now. I want the instant gratification now. It's no different from being at a job and just working your way up the ladder, right? And if you guys ever do an internship, you know what my first internship was? You know what I did for the first probably month? I just got a dude coffee. I got a dude coffee every day for like a month before I got any real responsibilities. Now, don't get me wrong. I was really invested. I was a great coffee getter, great coffee gopher. I paid attention to exactly when he wanted his coffee, how he wanted his coffee, and eventually I got to the point where I was getting his coffee before he even requested it. You laugh. I was serious, man. I sat at a desk, and my only responsibility, because you got all these interns, they don't really want you to do anything. Just I sat at a desk doing nothing except for he said, "Hey, kid, get me coffee," and I would just track the patterns. I'd be like, "Look, 10 o'clock he wants coffee, 12 o'clock every 2 hours he wants coffee." Basically, this guy was a coffee thug, man. That's also what got me down the deep dark path of chugging the black crack. But yeah, I started figuring out when he wanted his coffee. I would give it to him before he asked for it, and it kind of earned me some credibility with him, and I was able to start doing different tasks. He trusted me now, and I didn't end up pursuing a career with this company. I wanted to, but there were some other things I wanted to do, and it didn't. It was a full-time job, so it didn't allow for any flexibility. And the stubborn person I am, I'm like, well, look, if I can't do what I love, I don't want to do anything. So keep your job. Um, that's just me being dumb again. But it was one of those things where you invested a year in an internship doing the dumb stuff, and it paid off with a job offer. And if I would have accepted that job, who knows? I could have been there, worked my way up to different levels if I'm continuing to be good, right? Your bosses are doing the same thing. Most of your bosses probably didn't start off as the boss. They started off somewhere and they invested time into doing stuff they didn't want to do and worked their way up. And now they're reaping the benefits of their investment. Trading's the same way. But it's funny, in this industry, no one has that patience where it's like anything else, right? You want to be a doctor, a dentist. How many years do you have to invest in going to school? Right? How long do you have to go to school for before you can perform surgery on someone? 6 years, 8 years? People are okay with investing that time and that money in that skill, but what we do is gambling, I guess, so it doesn't matter, does it? We're not actually working on a skill, we're just gambling. So why shouldn't I be successful right away? I feel like I missed a few questions here as I was in deep thought. Let me scroll back real quick and then we'll get to, we're still looking for a move here on the key. We're going to go to Dollar Canada next. If you guys came in late, we do have a Bank of Canada rate decision today. No change expected, but they may drop some clues about the future. Muscles and protein, what have you guys been talking about? Spent 2 years only trading news, didn't work out. Wobbly house, ice cream. I have not watched TV or wasted times on things that are not James says I've not watched TV or wasted times on things that are not beneficial to my future since I started trading. Used my free time to be more productive, spending 6 to 8 hours a day on study and chart time. Well done. Anthony says, in my personal opinion, I think one of the biggest problems in Forex is the mountain of low quality trading information. Is that a shameless plug, Anthony? Is this when I should drop the link? People think they will easily be able to jump in and learn on their own, which also explains why about 90% of people fail. You know, that's a good point too. And it's tough because you can learn on your own. I think you can learn how to trade on your own. And here's how I typically address that question. It really depends on the person. You know, if you're a very highly motivated person, if you're someone that gets it, you know, some people are just skilled where they can, you know, they can learn to perform surgery on their own. But for most people, on the journey of learning to trade on your own, you're going to waste more time, which is most important, because again, we can't get time back. You're going to waste more time and money than what you would have spent investing in your education. I did. I lost way more money trying to learn on my own than what I spent for a training course. When I bought my training course, it was, I think, $3,000, $4,000, something like that. I lost much more than that in the market saying, oh, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to restart. Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to restart. I lost 2 years and I don't know how much money doing that. I took my training course, $4,000. Still took me about a year and a half, but that was a lot cheaper than what I had spent previously. Now, again, not everyone's like that, though. Not everyone's like that. Some people have the ability to kind of like, you know, we all know those people that just get it. That one friend we always hate, that 'cause they just get everything right away. But yeah, you're gonna pay someone. You're gonna pay your educator, or you're gonna pay the market. Someone's getting paid. That investment is being made somehow. The question is, where are you making it to?